Hi, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I'm not in the Joe Blog studio, I'm actually out and about. I thought I'd come out for a bit of fresh air, but unfortunately it's absolutely tipping it down. So raining quite heavily at the moment. Got my umbrella though, so I'm okay, it's not too cold. So I wanted to make this video really just to talk to you about life, because I recently went to Australia. In fact, about 10 days ago, I was in Melbourne and it was 46 degrees, it was baking hot. And now I'm in London, it's cold and it's raining and it's miserable. And whilst I was away, I got a message from one of my close friends, somebody that I went to school with. So I've known him for more than 40 years. And he was telling me that he was in hospital. I'm gonna go this way because it's less muddy. He was in hospital having been taken ill, had to have an emergency gallbladder removal. Now, I didn't even know what a gallbladder was at that point. So, you know, you live and learn. Apparently it's a little bit like an appendix. You don't really need it until it goes wrong, and then you really do need to get rid of it. Otherwise you can die. And it's a bit of a wake-up call. And I've spoken to my friend quite a bit over the past couple of weeks, and he's been quite unwell and lost quite a lot of weight because he was in hospital, couldn't really move for a few weeks. And it's these sorts of things really just bring into perspective just how fragile life is. And I heard yesterday, in fact, that somebody else that I know who's a similar age to me, a couple of years older, just had a heart attack. So obviously that's a life-changing event. And another one of my close friends who's got heart problems, you know, is also struggling at the moment with health, and is having to go to bed very early, so really curtailing the amount of things that he can do. And all of this really just puts into perspective the fact that we only have a limited amount of time on this planet. Now, I was having a look at the life expectancies for various countries, and interestingly, the USA is a big difference between men and women. So USA is about 75 for men, about 81 for women. UK, about 79 for men, 82 for women. Canada, a bit better. So I think you're up to about 80 for men, 84 for women, and Australia is the best. You can expect to live up to about 85 if you're a woman in Australia. So that's all good and well. Now, and I know I've talked about this before. I know that life expectancy is from birth. So, you know, when you get to my age, hopefully you can do a bit better than those averages because you've already lived for 50 something years. So you're sort of ahead of the curve, so to speak. But it doesn't really make much difference. Maybe, you know, maybe I can sneak an extra 5 years in. Maybe I might expect to get to 85 or maybe 90 if I'm really lucky. But will I? And will that happen? Well, nobody really knows, do they? Because you hear stories all the time of people, you know, just suddenly not feeling very well, being diagnosed with something, and next thing they're dead. So I want to make this video really as an uplifting event rather than something that's pessimistic and downbeat. I want to talk about the fact that you've got to make the most of life. You need to grab life by the horns and live it as much as you can. And I think there's too many of us just existing, just sort of pootling along, getting by, doing the same thing every day, sort of thinking that something good is around the corner, that, you know, maybe something good will happen next year or the year after. But unless you actually take control and do something about it, that isn't going to happen. You need to basically get control of your own life. So I've been doing that to a certain extent. You may have seen recently, I've started making videos outside of the Joe Blog studio. I did quite a lot of live streaming when I was in Australia. Quite enjoyed that. It was a bit of fun. I went down quite well with everybody. But I've also been doing other things. So I recently started a food channel where I'm doing food reviews. And so I've been running that, and it's quite difficult because essentially it's like starting another channel from scratch. It takes quite a lot of time and effort, and it's hard to get the views. So the views are way, way lower than they are on this channel. But this channel's also been a bit frustrating for me because the views have been going down quite significantly over the past 12 months or so. And I don't know the exact reason for that. I think part of it is down to some of the content, not quite as exciting as it was a couple of years ago when Russia first invaded Ukraine. But also, I don't know, maybe people just lose interest in YouTube channels after a certain space of time, and it's just natural to start seeing a deterioration in your views. But from my point of view, I want to sort of expand the type of videos that I'm making. So you may have noticed that I've sneaked a couple of new type of videos onto the channel recently. I did a couple on Qatar Airlines flights. I put a recently one on food, my breakfast at the Wolseley, which was meant to be the best breakfast in London, but certainly was not when I went. It was pretty terrible, to be honest. Have a look at that video if you get the chance. And the reason I wanted to make this video really was just to talk to you about that, because for me, this channel is really, you know, it's my hobby, my career, my income, my livelihood, my everything really. And so I don't really want to be creating multiple channels and trying to keep everybody happy. So I've decided that I'm going to post everything onto this channel. Now that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop doing the traditional stuff that I've been doing, all the political, geopolitical stuff about Russia and China and the USA and some in the UK, although the UK tends to be very disappointing in terms of the level of views that I get. So I'm reluctant to make things on the UK because it takes me about the same length of time and effort, and then generally I'm just left feeling pretty disappointed with the outcome. So unless people start watching them, I'm going to stop doing them. I'm going to turn this way, I think, go down, and it's really muddy though, so I'm quite worried about stepping in a muddy puddle, but hopefully I can avoid that. Yeah, so I'll carry on posting the political stuff, but alongside that I'm going to start posting other things, because there's this concept on YouTube of evergreen videos that people will watch forever. Now, the political videos that I'm making, you're not going to watch those forever because they're generally fairly current. You want to know what's happening. Maybe they have a lifespan of a few weeks, maybe a couple of months if I'm lucky, but generally they're dead within 24 hours. When I post them, within 24 hours, they've peaked and it's a very small number of views. Whereas if you make stuff on other things like food reviews, for example, if I review Gordon Ramsay's latest restaurant, for example, then people can watch that for a long time because it's likely to be open for many, many years. And so it would be nice for me to have some more evergreen content, because it means that I'm not constantly under pressure to make another video and another video. And if it doesn't do very well, if it's a UK one, it's not performing well, then I have to make a better video to try and get some views. So I'd like to do it from that point of view, but also it's more interesting for me. You know, going back to this whole life is short, nobody knows how long we've got left. I want to do some things that are not just me doing research, sitting in the Joe Blogs office, talking about the usual stuff. And the food stuff has been really helpful for me. It's got me out of my office, which is great. I can go out and about. Obviously, I'm having some food. I'm doing it with people, so you'll notice in those videos there's usually a cameraman, unnamed cameraman in most situations. That's because it's a different cameraman in many of those videos, so it's not the same person. And that means that I'm having lunch with people, so it's a bit more social for me, and overall it's just a good thing to do. And I'd also like to do a lot more travel videos, so I've done quite a few whilst I was in Melbourne. I'll start posting those, but I just wanted to let you know what's going on, because you'll start seeing videos on the channel. The broad concept for me at the moment is that I'm roughly posting a political video every day, and I post that later in the day UK time, so it goes out usually about 6 o'clock UK time, which is about 1 o'clock New York time, about 9 o'clock LA time, and you know, you can work it out yourself. So what would that be? I know Melbourne time, so that was 11 hours ahead, so if it's 6 o'clock PM UK, then that's going to be 5 AM Melbourne time. But in addition to those ones that I'm posting, I'm also going to start posting stuff around about lunchtime UK, so 5 or 6 hours before that. So it might be a food video, it might be a travel video, it might be a funny video, because I'm starting to want to get more amusing things going. I've got a lot of ideas on that. So just wanted to give you the heads up as to what's happening and why, because you know, I'm not going to be on this planet forever. I'm not going to live forever. Even if I live to 90, you know, I will die at some point. And so I want to have some fun along the way. I want to make sure that I've enjoyed it. But I also need to earn some money, and it's fun. I'm enjoying doing YouTube. So I'd like to have everything coinciding. So basically I can work, rest, play, have a good time, you know, whilst still hopefully putting a little bit of spice into your life, giving you some information, hopefully put a smile on your face. And that's one of the things I'm trying to do with the food and the other videos is, you know, show you a different side of my life, sort of different aspect of me. So that's what's going to be happening. Wanted to just give you the heads up. Wanted to come out. It's sort of stopped raining a bit now, I think. I can put this umbrella down. It's probably still raining a bit, but I can't be bothered with umbrellas. And also, it's hurting my arm carrying this umbrella. I can't even get it down. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video really just to put you in a picture as to what was going on, sort of take you out and about. Sort of here I am outside. It has stopped raining now, which is good because it was absolutely battering down before. So hopefully, if you can support me in this new venture, because I've had quite a lot of negative comments already. Posted the food video, instantly got a whole load of comments from people saying, stay in your lane, you know, stick to what you're good at, you're not very good at food reviews, garbage, stop doing this, embarrassing, those sort of things. I don't appreciate that sort of feedback. You know, if that's what you think, fine, but I don't care. You know, you don't have to tell me that you don't think I'm good at something, because I don't care. You know, if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. But don't send me nasty messages saying, you know, don't do this, please do that, because I don't like being pigeonholed. I like to experiment, I like to try things. It's obviously not going to be perfect when you're trying new things. There's always going to be some teething trouble. And yeah, you know, nobody's the world's expert in everything, but I want to have a go at it. And if I don't try, then, you know, what am I meant to do? Just do the same thing for the rest of my life? And if I was doing that, then I would never have started a YouTube channel, because I didn't grow up making YouTube videos. Started doing it quite late in life. It started raining again. Let's put my umbrella back up. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'd really appreciate it if you could support me. If you could watch some of those videos, it'd be fantastic. If I could get some of those videos going, it'd be so good. And the bottom line here is that it will give me longevity on YouTube, because I've been struggling a bit over the past 12 months or so, I would say. The views have been going down. It's been harder to get motivated. And I think if I just continue making the political stuff, it will come to an end. At some point, I'll just have to say, look, I've had enough of this, because it's just too consuming. I'm not having enough fun. And so I need to do something else. So if I can combine it with some other types of content, I think that will be the perfect balance to keep me going, because I'm motivated now to make the political stuff, because I want to do the other things. So it's sort of a combination of both. So if you can support me in the other ventures, I'd really appreciate it. It would definitely help me to keep going longer on YouTube, and hopefully you're still enjoying my other content, the political stuff. So anyway, I wanted to just make this quick video. It wasn't meant to be quick, but it's a bit longer than I expected. But thank you for watching. Thank you for understanding. Don't forget, we've only got a limited amount of time on this planet, so I don't know how old you are, but you can work backwards in terms of how many years on average you might have left, how many months that is, how many days it is, how many hours. It gets a bit scary if you start working out like that. You start thinking, oh my God, I need to do something immediately, something really exciting. But hopefully you'll still find time to watch some of my videos whilst doing all of those exciting things. And yeah, just wanted to give you a wake-up call to say, we've only got a limited amount of time left, so let's make the most of it, and hopefully let's have a bit of fun together. So thank you for watching this video all the way through to the end. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'll see you again on the next video.